That I have chosen for the independent study unit is The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel, which follows the disintegration of an international Ponzi scheme created by businessman Jonathan Alkaitis and the lives of those it affected, all who link back to a hotel in Vancouver Island. The three major themes within this novel are guilt is universal, fantasy cannot replace reality, and all people are prone to error. The first media element that reflects The Glass Hotel is the song Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapin, which exhibits the theme that guilt is universal. The song follows the relationship between a neglectful father and his son, and how it eventually converts into the opposite. In realizing his son's transformation and experiencing the sensations his son once felt, the father is riddled with regret and shame for failing to be a proper father figure and raising him to be just like him. Although the neglectful nature of the father was truly foul, it was never his intention to treat his son in this manner, which can be seen through the way he constantly states, "You know we'll have a good time then," which indicates that he hadn't harbored negative emotions toward him. On the other hand, Jonathan Alkaitis and the intentions behind his Ponzi scheme were always malicious, as the basis of such a scheme is the crime of thievery. When analyzing these two characters, we can see that one is redeemable and the other far from it. But despite these differences, both characters feel guilt the same. Even evil Alkaitis, shown through the quote, "I don't think it was an actual ghost. I think it was just his guilty conscience. Faisal flickers slightly, like a faulty hologram, then blinks out." Ghosts serve as a supernatural motive for guilt within this novel, making multiple appearances through different characters as well, which is why his haunting by Faisal demonstrates that he actually harbors a sense of guilt towards his death. Cats in the Cradle and the Glass Hotel display how all people feel guilt, regardless of their character or the intentions behind their actions. The 2007 film Bridge to Terabithia examines the theme that fantasy cannot replace reality through the protagonists Jesse and Leslie, who dwell within two dimensions. One is the grueling dimension of reality, and the other, the awesome, fantastical dimension of Terabithia. This imaginative world serves not only as an outlet for the children's imaginations, but as a refuge for the family issues and bullies which reside in reality. Within the Glass Hotel, Jonathan Alkaitis forms a counterlife, an imaginative world in which he escaped to Dubai prior to his arrest, and much like Terabithia, it serves as a refuge from the ghosts that haunt him and his troubles in prison. Bridge to Terabithia demonstrates the potential and importance of a fantasy world, as it allows the children to unleash their creativity and grow as individuals. But through the death of Leslie, who tries to get to Terabithia on a rainy day, it exhibits that there is no indefinite escape from reality. This can be seen in the Glass Hotel through Jonathan Alkaitis in the quote, "In the counterlife, he walks through a hotel corridor. The lobby is empty except for Vincent, and when he turns, he sees Yvette and Faisal strolling by one of the lobby windows." The way Yvette and Faisal appear in Alkaitis' counterlife illustrates its ultimate collapse, as a safe space that protected him from the ghosts is deemed useless. Through Brisha Terabithia and Alkaitis' counterlife in the Glass Hotel, we can see that a fantastical world can be extremely beneficial, but it can only serve as a temporary rest stop, never to replace reality. The film Failsafe reflects the theme that all people are prone to error through the display of a fictional nuclear disaster during the Cold War. The catastrophic outcome of the film, consisting of the loss of millions of lives and billions of dollars in infrastructure, all sprouted from the small error of the American Air Force in mistaking a civilian pilot for a Soviet intruder. And it demonstrates that even the most powerful and trustworthy people are prone to error. Powerful and influential Saudi Prince Faisal demonstrates this in the Glass Hotel, as his mistake in investing with Jonathan Al-Qaeda leads to the loss of not only his, but the fortunes of numerous princes, and ultimately the loss of his own life, in committing suicide due to the catastrophic consequences he faces. Through Failsafe and Faisal, we can see not only that even the most powerful and influential people are prone to error, but that even the smallest mistake made by a person of authority can lead to fatal consequences. The film Manchester by the Sea examines the theme that guilt is universal through the protagonist Lee Chandler, who is forced into a head-to-head match against the guilty harbors and unintentionally causing the death of his 3 children. Within the film, Lee demonstrates the immense pain and danger that guilt brings upon the human mind in attempting to shoot himself after being deemed innocent in a police investigation and inflicting pain upon himself by picking fights with strangers. The toll of guilt can be seen in the Glass Hotel through Oscar, Al-Qaeda's employee, by the quote, "It wasn't that she was about to lose everything, it was that she'd already lost everything and just didn't know yet." Oscar fled the apartment with tears in his eyes, in which his outburst of emotions after the realization of his guilt displays the painful toll that guilt influences, and he then goes on to become indulged in drugs. The self-destructive actions of Lee and Oscar display how guilt essentially rots away at the human mind. Now, although this pain may vary in intensity, it is universal for all people, whether you're a father who killed his own children or an accomplice to an international crime. Catherine Schulz's TED Talk on being wrong is another media element that reflects the theme that all humans are prone to error. Within the TED Talk, Schulz explains the concept of error blindness, which is a psychological phenomenon in which humans believe their mistakes are correct until it's too late. she makes use of the dumping of 200 gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico and the torpedoing of the economy as examples to display the consequences of humans who are completely oblivious to the air and their actions. The concept of air blindness exhibits how susceptible humans are to making mistakes. It is simply wired into our software and brings light to the danger in putting too much trust in one's sense of rightness. This reflects each and every one of Al-Qaeda's investors, shown through the quote, "That is impossible. The returns have been excellent. We've been living off of them. What I'm telling you is that Al-Qaeda was running a Ponzi scheme." This conversation between investor Liam Pravant and his accountant exhibits how all the investors were completely blinded of the truth by their sense of rightness and the excellent returns they were receiving, until it was much too late and they would have to reap the consequences of their mistake. The fallible nature of the investors isn't by fault of their immense foolishness, but rather due to the nature of humans in themselves, illustrating the overall message that all people make mistakes because it's simply how we were made. Here's the works cited page.